Let's talk about Denzel Ward, guys. He has missed.
PJ Walker did.
Oh.
Denzel Ward has missed the last 2 games for the Browns. The defense has taken a step back without him. I know I, for one, and hand up my bad, I underestimated how important Denzel Ward was to this defense. I knew he was a great player, but I thought they'd be okay and be able to sustain a level of defense that was above where they'd been, and I was wrong. And I apologize, Denzel. I underestimated you.
Yeah. There was a lot of propaganda being spread that Emerson was as good as Denzel Ward. That is not true.
Yeah, me and Earl take the L.
Yeah, I think I still love Emerson.
I think you guys did you guys have Emerson ahead of Ward when we did that countdown in the beginning of the year?
No, but it was way closer than it should have been.
It's time to go. Show over, right?
Emerson's a good player. Nothing.
Well, and by the way, let's not forget that there was a stretch last year where Denzel Ward looked like Denzel Smith.
Right.
Like, I didn't recognize
But that was
him.
the only time in his career when he was healthy that he wasn't playing.
And
well.
I don't know what we pin that on. Do we pin that on Joe Woods?
I had heard that
personal things
there was
off the
some personal
field.
stuff going on for him.
I had theorized early. I said the only thing I can explain is he's going through something big in his personal life.
Now his injuries have always been the issue, a bugaboo for him. You know, but when he's been healthy outside of last year, he's been great. And he's playing this year. He's played his best football. I think he went from having his worst year to having his best year. They need him desperately.
Yeah, he's got to come back.
I'm like Mike, man. I owe Denzel Ward an apology. You know, I kind of underestimated his level of importance to this football team.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I kind of underestimated exactly how good he truly is when he is healthy. I think when Denzel Ward is healthy, he's easily a top 5 cornerback in the entire NFL. You can clearly see exactly how important to his team that he is. I was one of the people who felt like, you know what? It's so much talent on this side of the ball. It's so much talent in the DB room that if either one of these dudes had to miss time for any reason, that we had guys that can step up and it would still be business as usual. I think we've seen that, you know, Greg Newsome is more of a slot corner than an outside corner. And that even though my man MJ is great, that, you know, he still got another year or 2 before he becomes, quote unquote, that dude. So the sooner we can get Denzel Ward back, the better. Just like the sooner if they can stop blowing them leaves, the better.
I mean, our man Herbie, who's our operations guy here at WKYC, has decided that the best time to blow leaves right outside our studio door is right now.
I actually don't think you could hear it on the broadcast, shockingly.
Oh, no?
It's not Herbie. It's somebody else. I thought it was Herbie. He's got a hood and a coat on, so I thought it was Herbie.
Yeah.
But, if you hear anything, we apologize. That is out of our control.
Yeah.
It's not really coming through, in all honesty. It's not
okay,
coming
good.
through.
Well, then our viewers can hear
Denzel Ward and the Browns have talent on defense, but they only have 2 special players, and that's Myles and Denzel Ward.
Absolutely.
And so the other guy, the Browns have more good players than they've had on defense in forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably since the 80s.
But you know what?
But they only have 2 special players.
Well, a lot of those players that we thought were, I thought the interior line, the interior of the defensive line was top notch. We talked about this on the show yesterday. They've been the invisible men lately.
Without Garrett, they've not been as good. And they were already not playing as well.
Right. I mean, I go back 3 games. They just really, we haven't been hearing their names.
So just a question for both of you. Are they good players or complementary players? Because if they're not playing good without Myles being healthy.
Complementary, clearly.
Then they're clearly
if they can't carry the load without Myles Garrett,
they're complementary.
They're complementary.
Look
at the stat graphic. Do we have last year's sack graphic?
I can tell you what it is. I don't have to in the system.
Ogbo is ahead of any other player the Browns were.
What is he at, 5?
I think he's 3.5.
Ogbo is 3.5 this season.
So what did it look like last year?
I think Taven Bryan had second with like
Bryan
2
had
or
3.
Last season, the Browns sack leaders, believe it or not, Myles Garrett obviously led the way. He had 16 sacks last year. Taven Bryan had 3. Deion Jones, remember him?
Oh my God.
He had 2.5. Jordan Elliott had 2, Clowney had 2, and Jacob Phillips had 2. Which, Steve, take 89 full real
quick.
Looks
almost identical to this year.
There's a slight step up. Ogbo 3.5. Tomlinson has 3, which would have been second. He tied Taven Bryan. But other than that,
it depends where Ogbo and Dalvin Tomlinson end up. But as you said yesterday, Mike, Dalvin Tomlinson got his 3 sacks against the Cardinals, who were at the time with Clayton Tune making his NFL debut and a bad offensive line and no James Conner. They were about as bad an offense as you can have.
Yeah.
I think Ogbo's been consistently solid.
He has. I think of all of them, he's the best.
He's been fine.
He's been even better than Smith.
I don't know what he's done.
He's done nothing.
He's been a big disappointment.
I try to talk myself into.
They spent a lot of money on that defensive line.
I try to talk.
And they're not getting their money's worth.
Listen, I try to talk myself into, okay, just because I don't see it in the stat column doesn't mean they didn't play a good game. But the truth is, the last couple games I've watched, even though it's not been in the stat column, it's not like it's really showed up on tape either, right?
Yeah.
He was non-existent last week. I mean, as far as a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson, I could care less about the sacks. What's bothering me is the lack of tackles for loss.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, last week he had 2 tackles. The week before that he had 2 tackles. Where's this interior defensive line
They're
creating
getting no
pressure?
penetration.
Now all of a sudden
None.
the run defense has slipped to 15th in the league, and it's because the interior is not like generating enough pressure to get in the backfield to stop the running backs.
And Bull, I think it's probably safe to say you can't expect them to get better as the season goes on.
No,
I mean,
certainly not.
for a position like that is so effort-driven, I wonder if they've already hit their wall and we've seen the best of them.
Yeah, and I don't think, listen, Tomlinson hasn't been terrible this year. He's been fine. He's been okay, but he hasn't been the impact player. They spent a lot of money on him.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's been an okay player, but not worthy of the money they spent
I think it's
on
safe
him.
to say they have not gotten their return on investment on defensive on the players that they spent on the defensive line.
Yeah.
I think it's been.
Listen, the talent's been
underperformed.
upgraded. They're better on the defensive line, certainly. But I think what we've seen the last couple of weeks is without Denzel Ward and with a Myles Garrett who probably shouldn't be playing right now. And again, I've said this a million times. You referenced me saying it yesterday. Myles, you're on the field. You got to perform. I don't want to hear it.
No excuse.
If you can't play, then don't play.
Tap out.
So what have we seen with Myles Garrett? Without Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, their defense is average.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Let me ask you guys this, and I'm not saying
At
Denzel
best.
is a better player than Myles. Like, if you're going off a hypothetical rating, Myles is a better overall player. But
Yeah, you're crazy.
No, and I'm not saying I agree. I just want to ask.
No, I know,
because
because the way you wrote that question, you said, this may sound crazy.
Oh.
It does sound crazy.
Well, yeah, but I said I don't actually necessarily agree. I just wanted to
Okay.
ask. Is there any chance that Denzel's actually more valuable, not better, but more valuable to the Browns defense?
Yeah, I
than
don't
Myles
see
Garrett?
it.
No.
I don't see it either.
No.
Myles
I mean,
plays
We're all on
closer
the
to
same
the
page. Just
football.
wanted to make sure we're all on the same
no,
page.
look, he's a very, very good player. He is way above average at his position. Myles Garrett is a generational talent who is going to the Hall of Fame. Denzel might. He's going to have to stay healthy for a lot longer than he has.
He's certainly no lock.
No, he's not a lock. And Myles Garrett, to me,
Yeah.
is as close to a lock this early in his career as you can be.
Myles Garrett's in the Hall of Fame already. Retires today, he's in the Hall of Fame.
I believe you're
Denzel
right.
Ward retires today, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
He is not in the Hall of Fame. No. So he's a very, very good player. He's way above the average at his position.
Sure.
And he's the second best player on this defense.
Absolutely.
But he is not the most valuable player
Man,
of
we
this
just
defense.
played the Buckeye game, and that's actually one of the few first-round draft picks that the Browns actually got right was
They hit on
Denzel
him.
Ward. But
And Myles Garrett.
Yeah, to everything you just said, man. Not only that, Myles Garrett plays closer to the football, so he has a bigger impact, on the game than Denzel does, even though he plays corner in a quote-unquote passing league. But no, it's Myles Garrett hands down.
I agree.
Listen, if the Jaguars are without Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk,
wow.
they've got a nothing run. Etienne's a decent player, but they haven't done anything. They haven't run block well. Plus, they're
He's taken a step back. He was much better last year.
Yes, and I think one of their tackles got hurt yesterday too. I don't know what his status is.
Yeah, Walker Little.
Yeah, because I think he got
He's
hurt
the
on the
one
same play.
on the same play.
got hurt the same
Lawrence
play,
got
correct.
hurt.
That's exactly right.
And, they have Calvin Ridley, who's obviously very good, but with C.J. Beathard, Calvin Ridley's about getting the ball downfield. I don't know if C.J.
How
Beathard
about
can
that
get the
catch
ball.
Ridley made that was wiped out last night because of the holding call?
Oh, my God.
What an incredible catch that was.
Crazy. That was crazy.
That changed the game, too.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
changed.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
otherwise, they have the ball on the 2-yard line.
Yep.
If
That
the
was-
Browns can't stop a Jaguars offense without Trevor Lawrence and potentially Christian Kirk,
Yeah.
It won't matter.
we got much bigger
It
questions.
won't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah. Well,
You're
think
right.
about
No,
it.
you're right.
Look at the quarterbacks the Browns are facing the rest of the way.
I know.
You're potentially facing, so this week, besides C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud's the only really good quarterback.
Jake
we'll see.
Browning might be the second best quarterback you could have faced the rest
Not
of the
might
You
be.
got,
I think
you got
he
Trevor
is.
Lawrence, and let's just go through it, Steve. So
No,
Trevor
no,
Lawrence
No,
is
I'm saying if
14.
Lawrence doesn't play.
I'm saying you got
No,
Beathard.
but yeah, so Lawrence or
Justin
Beathard
Fields would be the
potentially.
second best. Justin Fields.
Then you got Fields, Stroud.
But he's
Justin Fields, right now in a vacuum after what we saw one game last night,
but
Browning or Fields
yeah,
right now.
I don't know. I guess I'd still take Fields. Browning.
I still take
but
Fields too. You're crazy.
Fields
He
can
was
kill,
incredible
Fields
last
can
night.
kill him on the ground.
He can,
which
yeah.
is a problem that the Browns have had.
Well, you've pointed that out correctly all year.
Yeah.
They have had a hard time with quarterbacks that run the football.
Yeah.
Yeah, but last time we played Justin Fields, I think we set a team record for most sacks in the game. So
Well, but if Myles Garrett's not healthy, I don't think you're breaking that record
that's
again.
true. But I'm sorry. I know y'all said I'm crazy for that 5-0. You just seen that schedule. You just thought, okay, maybe 4-1 then, right? We lose to C.J. Stroud.
4-1 is 4-1. You can have a decent percentage on that, but right now everybody in the league is so inconsistent.
I'm telling you, Bull. I'm almost ready to put my hair on the line.
All the way.
Wait, whoa, hold on.
Wait.
Hold
Yes,
on.
nope. Earl said
Do
he
it.
can't take
Don't
back.
do it.
Can't take back.
Don't do it.
I ain't doing that.
4-1. I mean,
No.
if you're 87% sure they're going to go 5-0, let's put some locks on the line for 4-1.
I got to talk to my stylist first. See what we can do to get them put back in.
I think you got to
before I
shave
do
your
that.
head completely.
Yeah, on the show. On the show, if they don't go 4-1,
Yeah. I think G. Bush should shave your head.
Hey, can you Photoshop me with a shaved head? I wonder
yeah,
what that
I
even
would love
looks
to
like.
see what that looks like.
That's right.
Oh my God.
I want to see somebody out there can do a Photoshop of Earl with a shaved head wearing the outfit of DTR that you put me in.
Our
the
guy,
other
our guy
day.
Kyle
That
Brenner.
combination I want to see.
This
Someone
a
can do
request
that.
for our guy Kyle Brenner. If you could shave Earl's head and put him in the DTR outfit by the end of the show, that'd be phenomenal. Kyle Brenner is our go-to on the fly.
He's
graphic
like our
designer.
unofficial. I mean, Ant obviously makes
Ant's
our
our guy.
graphics. He is the
Ant-
guy.
listen, we love Ant.
But if
Ant's our guy.
Ant
No one will
ever
ever
gets into a
replace Ant.
situation where he gets some sort of crazy flu and he can't come in for 3 weeks, we might have to hire this guy.
I think,
Kyle's our
have y'all
guy.
ever seen me and Mike? Man, listen, we need a behind the scenes of UCSS. You should see me and Mike scrambling upstairs when Ant is not available.
I can only imagine.
We keep everything basic on the graphic side.
And you know what's funny is when we hired Ant, he was not a graphic artist. He had no experience at this.
If y'all want to laugh, go back and watch the very first show we ever did before we got
Oh,
the
the
graphics
graphics were
package.
abysmal.
And some of the stuff that I had to do on my own is the most disgusting.
Yeah.
I actually should have to pay back my salary for that day.
That's
or my
false.
money for
They
that day 'cause
almost
it was
looked
so
like
bad.
whiteboard graphics.
It was
was so
it was
primitive.
Italian flag that was trying to make a Guardians graphic. It was terrible. All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk a little.